Okay, guys, teacher Daniel here. We are back for our last part of the class for this week. We are gonna go back to our student book, page 100. Okay, so now let's open your student book on page 100. Now we are going back to the textbook, the student book, page 100. 100, okay? Open your student book. Okay, so what we're gonna learn now in lesson C is something that is we are all familiar with, everybody knows, everybody uses, everybody is aware of it, but when it comes to explain, it's kind of hard to explain, although we are all well aware of it and we know instinctively or we know by instinct. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the conjunctions and, or, and but. Okay, so let's take a look here. Lesson C, and this is what we're going to talk about. So look, so we're going to talk about conjunctions. What does it mean, conjunctions? They join together, they make it together. And we have three now. We're going to talk about and, or, and but. Okay? We're going to talk about conjunctions, words that connect, that they do a junction, they join. So these three words here, and, or, but then they have different meanings. Although they are all three are conjunctions, their meaning is slightly different, and it's important that you know this. Okay, so let's look here and see the explanation. We have and, we have or, and we have but. Okay, so look here. When you want to add, you use and. I work on Saturdays, I'm adding and Sundays, so these two together. Okay, so for example, I like rice and beans. I like both rice and beans. Okay, so when you think about and, I need you to think about as a addition. You're adding things. Okay, you're adding things. Okay, Saturday plus Sundays. Okay, good. Now we have another conjunction, and that conjunction is or. So when you have or, it's option. Either or, it's option. He works on Saturdays or Sundays. Sometimes is this Saturday, sometimes is the other Sunday. Saturdays or Sundays. It gives me the idea of option. Okay, not like and when they are all together. Here is you have to pick. It has to be chosen. Okay, okay. And now, but. Look here. But connects two ideas. However, but is contrasting. It's showing a difference. For example, she works on Saturdays. That's good. Okay. She works on Saturdays. But, but she doesn't work on Sundays. So, but means a contrast, or maybe something the opposite, a contradiction. She works on Saturdays. She doesn't work on Sundays. So, okay, it's showing a contrast, two different things. It's highlighting the differences or something like that. Okay, so what I want you to do is to pay attention to the grammar video. Okay? Okay, and then we come back. Let's take a look.
Conjunctions and, but, or. Unit 8, Lesson C. I work on Saturdays and Sundays. Watch and listen. Use and, or but to connect words, phrases, and sentences. Grammar Rule 1. Use and to connect similar ideas.
I go to the gym on Tuesdays. I also go to the gym on Thursdays. I go to the gym on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
He works weekdays. He also works weekends. He works weekdays and weekends.
Check your understanding. Look at the pictures. Complete the sentence.
I go to the gym on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Look at the pictures. Complete the sentence.
He works weekdays and weekends.
Grammar Rule 2. Use or to connect choices.
Sometimes she goes to meetings on Mondays. Sometimes she writes reports on Mondays. She goes to meetings or writes reports on Mondays.
Sometimes they have a picnic on Saturdays. Sometimes they play soccer on Saturdays. They have a picnic or play soccer on Saturdays.
Check your understanding. Look at the pictures. Complete the sentence.
She goes to meetings or writes reports on Mondays.
They have a picnic or play soccer on Saturdays.
Grammar Rule 3. Use but to connect different ideas.
She studies on Saturdays. She doesn't study on Sundays. She studies on Saturdays, but she doesn't study on Sundays.
They have meetings on Mondays. They don't have meetings on Tuesdays. They have meetings on Mondays, but they don't have meetings on Tuesdays.
Check your understanding. Look at the pictures. Complete the sentence.
She studies on Saturdays, but she doesn't study on Sundays.
They have meetings on Mondays, but they don't have meetings on Tuesdays.
Let's review.
I work on Saturdays. I also work on Sundays. I work on Saturdays and Sundays.
Sometimes he works on Saturdays. Sometimes he works on Sundays. He works on Saturdays or Sundays.
She works on Saturdays. She doesn't work on Sundays. She works on Saturdays, but she doesn't work on Sundays.
Okay. I hope the explanation was clear enough. So now let's move on and let's do this exercise to see if we can, to see if everything is clear from our end, okay? Let's see here. So, write, so now is a writing exercise, okay? Combine the sentences, use and, or but. So you have two sentences, you have to combine them. For example, look here. Sometimes Irene eats Chinese food for lunch. Sometimes she eats Mexican food for lunch. Irene eats Chinese or Mexican food for lunch. Okay, so you have to grasp the idea and then write it down. I don't have the option to write here. So what I'm gonna do, as I did last time, I'm gonna have this, okay, and then I'm gonna write down exercise 2A. Let's do the correction, okay. Number 2. Tito works the day shift. Tito also works the night shift. So the idea is I'm adding, right? So what is the conjunction that gives me idea of adding? And. Very good. So the sentence is Tito works the day shift and the night shift. Okay? Simple. That's it. Tito works the day shift and the night shift. Okay? Let's go to number 3. Marco had an interview. He didn't get the job. How can I make this one? It gives me the idea of contrast. So what is the conjunction that I use when I have contrast? Very good, but, so let's put it here. Marco had an interview. But he didn't get the job. Unfortunately, right? Let's go. Easy or difficult? It's easy, right? It's something that we know instinctively, by instinct, but we never learned formally. So most of us. So now that we are seeing this for the first time, sometimes it seems complicated, but it's not. We just have to practice. So conversation, the sentence 4. Brian likes his co-workers, he doesn't like his schedule. So see, two sentences, but they give me the idea of contrast, opposition from one another. So Brian likes his co-workers. But he doesn't like his schedule, right? Okay. Brian likes his co-workers, but he doesn't like his schedule. Okay. Let's go to number 5. Erica takes care of her children. She also takes care of her grandmother. The idea is same idea but addition, right? So Erica takes care of her grandchildren and her grandmother. That's it. Simple, right? Number 6. Carl cleaned the carpets. He didn't make the beds. Gives me the idea of contrast of one sentence is opposing or is different than the second one, so it gives me the idea of contrast. So I use which one? And, or but. Very good, but. So Carl cleaned the carpets, but he didn't make the beds. Okay? Easy or difficult? Easy, right? Let's go to number 7. Sometimes Kate works in Austin, sometimes she works in Houston. So see, you have the idea of giving not 100% one, not 100% the other. So it's kind of a optional or kind of a alternating, intercalating something. So how can we do this one? We use or, and it's like this. Sometimes Kate works in Austin, and what do you do here? Or Houston, that's it. Sometimes Kate works in Austin or Houston. Okay? And number 8, the last sentence. Ilya speaks Russian at home. He also speaks Russian at work. It gives me the idea of addition, adding, so we use the conjunction and. So the sentence comes like this. Ilya speaks Russian at home and at work. Okay? Good? Questions? Send it to me. Okay? So now, as we look at all these sentences here, we're gonna listen to the CD, the recording here. Just check your answers, okay? Just check your answers.
Page 100, Exercise 2A. Track 18. 1.
Sometimes Irene eats Chinese food for lunch. Sometimes she eats Mexican food for lunch.
Irene eats Chinese or Mexican food for lunch.
2.
Tito works the day shift. Tito also works the night shift.
Tito works the day shift and the night shift.
3.
Marco had an interview. He didn't get the job.
Marco had an interview, but he didn't get the job.
4.
Brian likes his coworkers. He doesn't like his schedule.
Brian likes his coworkers, but he doesn't like his schedule.
5.
Erica takes care of her children. She also takes care of her grandmother.
Erica takes care of her children and her grandmother.
6. Carl cleaned the carpets. He didn't make the beds.
Carl cleaned the carpets, but he didn't make the beds.
7.
Sometimes Kate works in Austin. Sometimes she works in Houston.
Kate works in Austin or in Houston.
8.
Ilya speaks Russian at home. He also speaks Russian at work.
Ilya speaks Russian at home and at work.
Okay, everyone, that's all for this week. I hope you had enjoyed this week's class. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, if you need any help. That's all. I'll see you soon. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.